And welcome to the podcast, welcome to the vodcast, welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean. Zennial Dean, it says.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
And mine must say Millennial Nick. And if it's your first time joining us, we are three friends from three different generations, and we talk about all kinds of nerd and pop culture stuff. We can be found via YouTube and Facebook by searching for Convincing Idiots. And if you've done that, we thank you. We are also on Instagram at convincing_idiots. We are on Twitter at Convincing Idiot with no S. We are on TikTok at Convincing Idiots. Or if there's a certain show topic you'd like to hear, or maybe some feedback you'd like to give us, or you just want to stop by and say, hey, I think you guys are super cool and I want to hang out with you sometime, you can send those emails to convincingidiots@gmail.com.
Has that ever happened?
I would imagine many times. I would imagine there's been many inquiries, and I would imagine the list of people wanting to hang out with us is quite long at this point because we've been in the middle of this here pandemic, so we haven't been able to hang out with any of our listeners. But
We're global.
Soon we'll start chipping our way through that guest list. Also,
Plus, we have stickers.
We do have stickers. Although, real quick, worth mentioning. We are available everywhere you like to listen to podcasts. We can also be played via your home assistant device and simply asking them to play the Convincing Idiots podcast. And yes, as Brian mentioned, we do have stickers, which is any worthy, definitely always a worthy reason to get people to hang out with you, is if you can give them stickers to hang out with you. Reach out for stickers.
Or reach around. We'll give you a sticker.
You'll get a sticker for that as well. Every damn time. Every time. So, boys, we are recording this on May 4th. Now, as some may know, if you've been with us long enough to have given us a chance on our first episode, we covered Star Wars at great length. So we are all Star Wars fans here. I see everybody's proudly repping their Star Wars shirts and whatnot. So we're here on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, gentlemen.
May the 4th be with you.
Anybody do any fun Star Wars activities today? Anybody eat any Wookiee cookies or do anything cool like that?
Wookiee cookie.
No, I just wore a shirt and I had a Star Wars mask at work. That's my extent of my celebration.
Did you wear the Darth Vader mask? Is that the mask you wore to work?
Darth Vader is on my face mask. Yes, absolutely. But it's not an actual helmet.
Not the helmet.
No, I reserve that for weekends and special occasions.
Mm-hmm. The bedroom.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. I am wearing my Darth Vader shirt. I am wearing my Star Wars underwear.
Nice.
And
I don't believe you, Pixar. It didn't happen.
If there was some way, that I would show you. But
there's a
whole contraption here. No, but I really am wearing Star Wars underwear. I got them at Old Navy, I believe. Anyways, that's not the point. And I also
shout out to Old Navy, newest sponsor of the show. Thanks for.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
But I've been watching since Carter and I have been home. We've been watching Star Wars and Star Wars features and different content. Right now, actually, behind camera right now is The New Hope.
Nice.
So
The New Hope.
The
newest of hopes. Nice.
So I think that's why I call you when you're not around.
The New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the New Hope. I like that.
Dope. I'm sorry. I misspoke. My apologies.
It's okay.
I always get those mixed up.
Yeah, The New Hope is Dean's future replacement on this podcast.
Fingers crossed.
Nick, how about you? Did you celebrate anything yet today?
You get a monkey to have any sort of verbal skills, and I'm replaced easily.
Get one of those chimeras on here. It'll be placed in no time. There we go.
Good.
Yep.
Beat me to it. Beat me to it. Yep.
But no, I didn't really. I've got my Star Wars stuff on today, and we just work and stuff, and then the kids, we did soccer practice tonight and stuff like that. So, not really time for that. We didn't really have a lot of time this evening, but looking forward to watching the Bad Batch and stuff like that, and seeing what that's all about. And then I saw that Disney Plus had.
You're gonna like it.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Me specifically, or just people in general?
You enjoyed the animated show stuff,
I like
right?
the Clone Wars, on Cartoon Network. Yeah, they were good. I have not seen them all. Like, I mean, I feel like I've never sat down and watched them beginning to end. I feel like Lane has, my oldest. Seasons. He's watched them all. Yeah, there were a lot.
And Rebels, there's a callback to Rebels. It's pretty good.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, cool. Nice. And then there was also, I believe, Disney Plus put on some some tour shows or little mini shows or whatever of planets and ships and things like that. Is that right?
Yes. You can go all around like the Millennium Falcon. You can go. Hold on. My apologies. This is very unprofessional. Just give me one moment.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, it was my understanding they had the little, like a tour. I guess I didn't watch either one of them, full disclosure. But there's one on planets, I think, and I thought it was like, oh, it's kind of cool. It'd be like a little National Geographic, like a kind of like a tour of the planet or whatever. Like maybe somebody'd have a host and they would go around and mock, kind of look around the planet or whatever. I don't know if that's what it's like or not, but.
Have you ever seen one of those, I don't know if HGTV has it, but I know that, if you, the Hannah Holmes on, a Sunday morning, it's,
where they advertise the homes or whatever? They do the still shots of,
right. Yeah. Or the ones that'll just slowly pan through the living room and then maybe go into the dining room. That's all it is.
Okay, like a virtual walkthrough, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They start by the outside. They do a brief overview of the Millennium Falcon, and then they open up the door and go up the ramp, and it's just a slow. And they got music behind, but it's a slow walk through the Millennium Falcon.
That's cool.
And then the other one was a Star Destroyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And same thing, just panning around.
That one would take a lot longer, right?
I don't think
go through every individual chamber and here's where this crewmate sleeps, and here's where no, none of that.
No, it was just a few of the corridors and whatnot.
Okay.
Here's the Star Destroyer men's room, something you never really saw on the.
You never see it.
Always wondered what that looked like. I always wondered if it was a trough setup or if there were dividers, or what does urinating in space in the future look like?
Now, if it was a stormtrooper,
or actually the past,
you probably would need the trough setup because it'd be harder to miss. I would think.
There you go.
Right. Yeah.
That's
true.
Point.
Yeah. These are stormtroopers. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
So, Dean, there was other content that's new on Disney Plus today as well, correct?
Yes. One of the cool things was The Simpsons put out a short episode called The Force Awakens After the Nap, or After a Nap, something like that. But it's Maggie is dropped off to a daycare, and it's like a Star Wars daycare. So all of the background is Star Wars characters. At one point, one of the teachers picks up a kid, dips him into a ball pit, and the air comes out, and she pulls the kid out, and he's in carbonite.
Nice.
Little gags like that. Yeah. And then there's a baby Darth Maul that fights Maggie and stuff. And
so
I hope I'm saying this right, because it looks like I'm being judged here by Homer.
Yeah, he doesn't look happy with the critique, really. I was going to say, is it so it's not like the Family Guy ones where they spoof it or whatever?
No. At the end, which tells me that they did probably more of these that they might put out, hopefully. But at the end, when they start doing stills during the credits, they start showing stills of different scenes that weren't in, that episode. Like the one scene was Mr. Burns was the big hologram that Snoke was from Force Awakens.
Okay.
I think trying to remember some of the other ones. I think probably Homer as Jabba, or something like that. But I remember the Snoke one.
Okay.
There's a few different ones, but yeah, I mean, it was only a few minutes long, but it was worth it.
Do you think that's like a Disney thing because like Disney owns the rights to The Simpsons now and stuff like that?
Totally.
Because like
they made that
I mean,
joke.
The Simpsons has been around almost as long as Star Wars at this point, and like, why now? Like, why the crossover now?
They made there's a Mickey Mouse joke in there, and at the very end where it says Disney Plus, Lucasfilms, and then Bart runs in with a spray paint and puts the Simpsons under it.
Oh, okay.
So, and then they're in the episode itself. They have a Disney reference.
Are you interested in a Simpsons version of Star Wars similar to Family Guy? Yeah,
totally. It won't be as raunchy, but yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, like you say, maybe they're testing the market. I don't know if it'd be as good. I really enjoyed the Family Guy ones. That was really, really clever.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys have seen those, yes?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Got all three on DVD.
Yeah, I had those as well. Clearly, Seth MacFarlane is a fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, all right. So recommended The Simpsons Star Wars.
Yeah, that was fun.
Little mini special there. Okay, and then the Bad Batch launched today, Dean. So, and you did see that. So,
yep.
What did you think of episode 1 of the Bad Batch?
Here's the thing: all of these properties, Marvel, now Star Wars, they're putting out these shows where initially when I hear about them, I'm like, do I really care about these characters? Or they did it to me just like Marvel did. I enjoyed it. Like commercials, I'm like, well, of course I'm going to watch it because it's Star Wars. But the characters were intriguing. They had some. They start out. The episode starts out with a really cool nod and throwback to another show, movie type thing that'll grab you. At least for me, because I was a fan of the past animated series, so they throw out a nod to that you're like, oh, all right, that's cool, and it gives a little backstory to other things, and yeah. But yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. That's not a spoiler,
No, nice,
because it's that timeline. It is. It takes the show starts minutes before Order 66.
Oh, okay. So in episode 3.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
And the last episode of the Clone Wars, the one when they came back that last season, when they came back last year for it, that ended with Order 66.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So these are like overlapping very briefly.
Okay.
Like a day of overlap.
Okay. So what is the premise of the Bad Batch?
All right. Well, in the last season of Clone War, they did an episode introducing these guys. They are medically deficient mess ups. Like in the cloning process,
so they are clones.
They're
defects.
Clones.
Yeah, they're clones, but they're defects. They're medical defects. So they took these medical defects.
So one's got like bad allergies and shit, and the other one's got like a hangnail or like what's going on?
No, they look a little off. Like one's just bigger.
Okay.
One's too skinny. Like
one's got an eye halfway on the other side of its face, kind of drooping off.
Right. But when they had the medical defect guys, what they did was the scientists gave them enhanced something.
Superpowers.
Yeah, a little bit. Like the one guy is really strong, other guy's really smart. One guy has kind of a good sensory, like he's got really high senses like smell and vision and stuff.
Okay.
And so since they have all these they're kind of super soldiers, they are put into a group.
A batch, if you will.
Yeah. It's the 99th, and it's the 5 of them running around, or 4 of them running around doing special missions. That starts out showing you like them kicking ass, taking out like a whole what are the Roger droids by themselves.
Battle droids, yeah.
Yeah. So, and anything beyond that, it will spoil it. So that's the premise of the Bad Batch themselves.
Okay.
So are they in the Empire, or they're for hire, or do they leave the Empire?
They work for the Republic. That because, like I said, the movie starts just before Order 66, so they kind of are there for the switch.
I see. Okay.
So when everybody flips over, and you also see what the normal clones, how they react. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, we followed this one mission. I don't know if you watched the Clone Wars, but a lot of them had their own personalities.
Mm-hmm.
But the switch is not just like, oh, this one order to kill all the Jedi. No, it kind of almost makes them robotic. Almost makes them like set fast, 100% just fighting.
Okay.
So I found that a little interesting.
Sounds cool.
Okay.
Brian, will you be watching this, even though you don't have any young children in the house?
I will check it out because just being a Star Wars property, I've not watched the Clone Wars. I've not watched Rebels. I haven't got into any of that stuff. So, just timing and just whatever. But
yeah,
I would have watched it even if Carter wasn't here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it geared more toward kids? Is that what it is? Is it more of a kids show, or is it like so young adult, or what?
Clone Wars was a kid show. Like I said, it was on
Cartoon Network.
This is a little older. I would say young adults. That would make more sense. There's no cursing, but it's darker, a little broodier, if that's a word.
Okay.
So, I would recommend it.
All right.
My other recommendation would be Blake Insurance, because everybody needs insurance, even if you are a clone or you're a good batch or the bad batch.
And if you're defective clone, all the more reason to have insurance.
Exactly, because if you're driving and you're a defective clone, there's a good chance you could run off the road. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But what you're going to do with that, you're going to call Blake Insurance. Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They offer auto, home, renters, business, or life insurance. That's really important, given clones. You don't know what. I don't think they live that long, so they might need it. They might need that life insurance. See, Erie is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. Go ahead and give Mr. Aaron Blake a call there. Once again, the number is 234-571-5359. And he is part of the good batch, not the bad batch.
Mm-hmm. Good batch, Aaron Blake. Yes.
Call today.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Good batch. Also part of the good batch. That segue. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Very good. So, any other new content you came across on Disney Plus today, or is that pretty much it in honor of Star Wars Day?
I believe that's it. Like I said, I'm watching New Hope right now, so I think I've covered everything.
Okay. Oh, it takes me back to our, like Nick mentioned already, our first episode where we recapped
43 years ago.
Yes, it's amazing. It's been so long already.
Yes.
Yeah, 3,000 episodes later.
When we started, Brian looked like Nick. It was incredible.
Yeah, I looked like the young Luke Skywalker. Now I look like Luke Skywalker from the last trilogy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, so again, it takes me back to that. We debated our best, our favorite movies, or not our favorite movies, but we ranked all the movies at the time. And then we talked about our, which trilogy, which set was the best between the original, the prequel, and the Disney trilogy. Not to recap the entire thing here, but while we're on Star Wars, wearing our shirts, on the whole theme here, so why don't we go back and back down memory lane a little bit here and talk about some of our favorite movies, moments, and some of our least favorite Star Wars content, movies, etc. Doesn't have to be, I guess, within the movies, but anything come to mind. So back to the. I mean, you mentioned the Order 66. It just takes you back to the prequel trilogy in general, and just how crazy that was to start out with the so long and not having any Star Wars movies for several years, and then they relaunch it with a very intriguing political story to explain the whole rise to power of the Emperor and all this, that, and the other, and a long slog for me to finally get to the terrific best lightsaber fight maybe in the entire movies period of Star Wars between Ben Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker on the volcano planet. But so still my least favorite trilogy to date. So any thoughts there, guys? Have you had more time to reflect, I guess, on the trilogies in general? Does your order change up at all? Again, it's only since October, but as more time passes between that Disney trilogy and then, for me, I go back and forth of what's the worst trilogy between the Disney one, frankly, and the prequels. I don't know. Any thoughts to any of that stuff, guys?
For me, and I remember when we all did our rankings, we pretty much came out to the conclusion that we all liked the original 3 movies the best. That was everyone's favorite trilogy. They were all good, and to varying degrees. And then we all there was different versions. I want to say Dean and I agreed that we liked the prequels a little better than Disney. Maybe that's not correct. I know that's where I stood on it.
Well, Revenge of the Sith really helps that.
It raises the collective average for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the character of Darth Maul is something that also helped. Even though that character didn't end up being what it was really advertised as initially, it was not as big
not
of
at
a
least
role.
in the movie.
Not in that one. But yeah, no, I think the trilogy, the prequel trilogy, has the biggest stinker in it, in my opinion. My least favorite movie is Attack of the Clones, but I don't hate the Phantom Menace the way a lot of people do. It's got its dumb parts, and there's definitely things that could have been done better. But I don't despise that movie like a lot of other Star Wars fans do, and I love Revenge of the Sith. It's in my top 3 of all of them. Period. So I really actually like that movie a lot. And then with the Disney ones, nothing's really changed there for me. I enjoyed The Force Awakens. That could have been it. I don't really know. It just seemed like an aimless kind of end. I didn't need the last 2 movies at all, really. They squandered the end of it. The second movie literally does nothing to even further the plot. The Last Jedi does. You can pluck that movie out of there, and you'll never know from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker that you missed a goddamn thing. It doesn't. You don't need it. It doesn't do anything. It's just there.
It does do something though. What it does.
See Mark Hamill drink green milk from the udder of a thing by the sea.
What it does is it forced J.J. Abrams to do a shitty movie on the end. I think it would have been a totally different movie if he didn't have to spend half of his time trying to fix what Rian Johnson had done.
Yeah. Yeah, but
he did Force Awakens. We all enjoyed that.
Mm.
So he's capable of doing good Star Wars. And
sure. Or did he just get a good one? Is he not capable and he just got a good one? He relied on nostalgia. Because didn't we all agree that The Force Awakens was very heavily similar to the layout of A New Hope?
Sure,
of course.
So did he follow the blueprint and he struck gold with that one? And we were just so happy it wasn't one of the prequels that. I still think it was good. I mean, I'm not knocking The Force Awakens. I've watched it a few times since, and I thought it was really good. I dug the whole thing, but
I'm not. I don't hate the last one as much as you guys do. Yeah, Last Jedi is hot garbage. But The Rise of Skywalker, I enjoyed a little more than you guys did. So, but I do agree that it was lacking, and I do believe because it was trying to make up for the horse shit that Rian Johnson threw out on the fucking movie theaters.
Yeah.
And they're looking to give this prick his own trilogy.
Who? What? For what?
Rian Johnson.
For what?
I don't know. Maybe he's got something on an executive or something. I don't know.
Star Wars?
Yes.
Why?
They don't like their fans. Maybe I don't know.
I thought it was the guy that was doing the Game of Thrones or something like that.
I think those guys are out.
Oh, really?
What?
I've heard of no. Who's getting a movie now instead of those Game of Thrones guys? I think it was a scheduling thing, but I think it's Taika Waititi.
You just said that. That's a Star Wars character, isn't it? That was somebody in the cantina.
No, it's the
Taika Waititi. You just came up with that.
No, it's the guy who he did Thor Ragnarok. He did.
Okay.
He did Jojo Rabbit. He did one of the episodes of Mandalorian.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, he's really known for like some weird, wild, far out stuff. Really good. He's a great writer and director. So it'll be fun to see what he can do.
Interesting.
He might just make it all fucking weird and shit, which I'm all involved for. We've already now once you're done with the Skywalker saga, I don't care what you do. Let's get weird with it. Let's have fun.
Here's my thing. I would rather someone try to go so far outside of the box and make it weird and it'd be bad than be like try so hard to hit it just right and then biff hard on that. Like I'd rather you at least take a risk and miss than like just stick so close to like what you think is, or just go a bunch of things for the end and try to piece together an end and then in the last minute go, oh shit, we realized we didn't figure out where these people came from and now we have to make this trilogy make sense. And it still doesn't.
If you want to see how weird Taika Waititi can get, watch Jojo Rabbit.
Is that Roger Rabbit's cousin?
No, it's about a little boy in Nazi Germany who is such a fan of Hitler that he makes Hitler his imaginary friend.
Okay.
And Waititi is actually the guy who plays Hitler.
Okay.
And it's Hitler should not be a quasi-likable character in any sense, but he kind of is.
Okay.
He makes him fumbling. He makes him stupid and goofy. He's not the real. He's the imaginary friend. And two, Taika Waititi is, I believe he's Jewish, so he said, what better F you to Hitler than to have him be portrayed by me?
Ah, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, good troll.
So, yeah, if you want to see how weird he can get making a movie, obviously you saw what he did with Thor Ragnarok. That was different from anything else, they were doing.
I really like that movie. That was good. Yeah.
I'm excited about seeing this Star Wars and what this looks like.
Yeah.
So what do you hope they do? There were rumors with at least the prior creative team, if they're out, that they were going to go back to the, they've mentioned the Old Republic before, but never really got into the storyline, at least not at the movies. Do you hope to see something like that way before the prequels, or just do something complete? Do you want to see Jedis? Do you want to see the Force? Do you want to see any of that stuff? Okay.
I want to see some sort of Jedi. You know what I mean? Yeah, I enjoyed The Mandalorian, which I guess proves that you don't necessarily need Jedi. But
but they're in it. I'm
talking about like the first season.
Okay, yeah.
It proved that you didn't necessarily need it. But I can. Yeah, well, you know what? Thinking about it, yeah, I guess I can go either way.
Yeah.
As long as it's done right, as long as you got blasters and the character. I think you need R2-D2 in there somewhere. I mean, he's never going to die, right? He's a droid, so put him in.
Right.
Even if he does a cameo. Yeah. Briefly, if he's on one of the X-Wings that flies by, something,
Yeah.
A little bit of fan service.
Yeah. I think I agree, Dean, with that, as far as like now that the Skywalker saga is done, and hopefully there's always going to be, some nerds that are like super it's way too important to them that right. And I'm not, knocking nerds in general or nerd culture. That's what we do. But I think maybe once you get away from that saga that's so near and dear to people's hearts, and Brian grew up with and stuff like that, and has lived his life through the saga and, watching it unfold. Now that we're away from that basic storyline and all these characters that everyone feels so intimately close to and so protective of, that, of how they envision it's supposed to be. Maybe now Star Wars fans can kind of let loose a little bit and enjoy things more, because it doesn't have to be exactly what you think it should be or what it. The
only way you can do that, though, is going forward in time, because there's been so much.
You mean like you don't want to mess with like the.
There's so much canon written within books, within comic books. Different products of Star Wars have been written of the Old Republic. They're doing an Old Republic comic book now that's canon. So there are characters that, Yoda's been around for 900 years. So if you go back from you have 900 years, you're going to have Yoda in that timeline. So the only way you can go forward with ideally no characters from the current or past product is going forward.
I don't know. I mean, you could still go way back, and you can go way back in the Old Republic, and you could tell you could talk about the origins of the first, beings that maybe understood the Force in general, and they had powers, and maybe the initial training. They could go as far back as they want to, and have a whole new storyline.
The Wills. So that's what I'm saying is all of those meanings, all from the beginning, have been written out in one form or the other. So it is canon in one form or the other. Yeah, once again, they might not have like specific characters, like the exact names, but the idea of the origin is already done.
Because they can do whatever they want. They don't have to recognize any of that stuff.
No. I'm saying is there is a book that is the history of the Jedi. Don't get me bent on the book, the title there, but it is written from Luke Skywalker's perspective, and it goes through and shows pictures and tells you what he knows.
Yeah.
Of each character from Star Wars.
Yeah, Lane has that book.
Okay.
And it, excuse me, in there, then it shows like people from the past. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And does it talk about the wills of the Force? The
I haven't really read through. I mean, I've flipped through the book and stuff. It's a cool looking book, but I haven't sat down and read a lot of it.
Because then you have like Mortis and the son and the daughter. Those the kind of the first Jedi type Force users, and you have the witches, and it's a whole thing.
Wow.
Well, whatever they do, hopefully it'll have a storyline, and people will think about hey,
Right.
if we're going to make a trilogy, here's a great idea: a beginning, middle, and a end that wraps up the story. Obviously, the first trilogy had that very nicely. The prequels, even as clunky as the storyline was, George Lucas was at least telling a story. He knew beginning, middle, and end, how he wanted to wrap it up with the whole creation of Darth Vader and the birth of the twins and all that stuff, which is, again, a little shaky and clunky. But yeah, going back to the new trilogy, they had no clue, it seemed like, what they were doing after the first one, and had no way to tie it all together. And it was just, so I am sure that people learned from the current trilogy, and as much negative feedback and everything as it got, I'm sure they're going to step back and say, let's plan this a little bit better and tie it together a little bit more nicely, hopefully.
I think they had more of a beginning, middle, and end than you give them credit for. Beginning, Star Wars movie. Middle, fans. End, payday. That was the beginning, middle, and end. That was the plan. The middle was the fans. They need the fans, and then the end was the payday. There you go.
The whole ending.
Money.
I still don't. I guess so. I still don't.
We're just gonna make Star Wars movies and not give a shit about what happens to it. It just make them.
Look at the Return of the Jedi. I mean, what wraps up a trilogy of iconic movies than tiny bear people singing and dancing to a song called Yub Yub.
But at least they had the ghosts. They tied it all together.
Right.
Everybody's
it was the
there
finale.
together.
It was the end of the
Everybody's
whole
celebrating.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite scenes of the original trilogy is that last scene.
The
First of all, it's the ghosts. Luke oddly seductively looking at them, and then at the very end, everybody lining up. Who in the fuck's taking the picture? Why are they lining up like they're posing for something? What? Why do they get their arms around each other? Looking at who? Looking at what? Do you have Wicket over there?
But at the time, he had no idea. He thought at the time, that's my last movie.
No.
It actually probably should have been
that.
It certainly ties it up better than the new trilogy.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the scene of them posing. They could have. I liked how they ended it, but they could have done something different than all of them putting their arms around each other and like an '80s freeze frame.
Well, it was an '80s freeze frame. That's exactly what it was.
Right, and which is shitty. I don't just say I never cared for that.
Yeah,
that and the singing in Jabba's palace.
That was terrible.
That was not originally there.
Okay,
there was a band there though.
That one's fine. That one's fine.
I didn't even like the band in there. I was even annoyed by that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's keep going with some of the worst. Yeah. Keep going with some of your worst Star Wars moments in any. I agree. That whole one's Jabba music thing that was pretty bad. Even awful. And when they added to it on the special edition, that just made it worse.
It makes my skin crawl. My kids play it on YouTube just to piss me off. They'll trick me into coming in and they'll pause it at that point. Have the big
furry guy going.
I hate it.
Terrible.
I hate it. It's my favorite movie. It's my very favorite movie of all of them.
Flames. Flames.
It is just so
somebody
unnecessary.
Get that Clue reference. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, it was when they re-released the original trilogy, and they were like, "Hey, computer animation, look what we can do now. Let's add things in that George Lucas would have done if he had all this technology back in those days. Let's add some things." And there were some scenes. There's some cool, things they added in some of the battle scenes, but the shit that they added is unnecessary. Like that was the main one. They horned an extra song and dance number in there for no reason.
New Hope.
Yeah.
Jabba in the New Hope.
Yeah.
Did you like it or not?
I wish they wouldn't have.
I just watched it, and I'm watching the newest version.
Yeah.
So when they originally redid it, it looked clunky. It looked horrible. But they were able to touch it up so much that it doesn't look bad in the newest form.
My thing that I never liked about that scene is that, so I get that there's time gone on from A New Hope, and in my head, in my kid brain, as I would watch these movies and try to make sense of it, I would go, well, some time has gone on. So, like, I would justify why Jabba looks like a completely different character in A New Hope versus Return of the Jedi, is that some time has gone on. Maybe he's
let
aged.
himself go.
Maybe he's let himself go. Because he's
big time.
He's slugging around. He's walking. Because I understand they shot it in the initial one with a guy.
Lighting.
Yeah, lighting. Obviously, the effects. The lighting is better. Better stage crew now.
And see, look at the man. You see me back here. I am a slender, handsome fellow. Now watch.
Jesus.
Yeah.
See, lighting.
A lot to take in.
A lot to take in.
Yeah, but how much weight did he...
That's not the first time you're going to say that tonight.
How much weight did he put on between New Hope and Jedi? I mean,
he eats a lot of frogs.
I guess. High-fat frog diet, perhaps.
Yeah. And it doesn't even... actually, they fixed it, but initially when The Phantom Menace came out, Yoda that they did in The Phantom Menace, similar effect.
Right.
Does not look like Yoda from Return of the Jedi. Now, granted, I understand time has gone on, but looks like a different character. I mean, he's 900 years old, so in the span of time it would take Anakin Skywalker to go from being a little boy to growing up and being Darth Vader, and now you're training his son in his, let's say, early to mid-20s to be a Jedi. Yeah, he's probably aged, but he's also 900 fucking years old, so he's not going to age the same as everybody else. He wouldn't look that different in that span of time. But anyway, yes,
I could do species.
To go back to the Jabba in A New Hope. I could do without that scene. It wasn't there in the first place. I don't need the things that weren't there in the first place. Those movies were great when I saw them the first time, without all the bells and whistles and just the way they were. The original theatrical movies should just be that, and I don't need extra scenes and stupid shit. We didn't have it in the first place. We weren't missing it.
I like the subtle things that they did. I thought those were fine. So just the small things like, when the Millennium Falcon blasted out of Mos Eisley, the ship lifts, it turns, and flies away. That was cool. The scene where they're flying to the Death Star, and you got the more detailed, the X-Wings flying past the planets and stuff like that. Those little things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good with that. But like you say,
I like my Han Solo's good, so I like that he was shot at first. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, that is that the most infuriating of all of them? Was the blaster
ridiculous.
Shot first? I don't. Yeah, that's
because
gotta be the worst.
It's the worst head. Like it was like a Max Headroom glitch in the Matrix. Him moving his stupid head.
I don't get it. I don't get. That was one of the coolest scenes, even as a kid. I remember as a kid when he just. He knew his life was in danger, and just, even
if you didn't, he's a space pirate. Let him murder people. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I don't need everybody to be a good guy. That's a good guy.
Right.
Yeah, you can be on the line. You can kind of blur that line, and that's what makes that character so appealing to people in the first place. Is he's not. If you like the clean, goody, good guy, then you've got Luke for that.
Right.
But he wasn't that. You don't need two of that character. He's not that. He's the grizzled veteran.
That's why people listen to this show. For me, if they want the really squeaky clean, they got you. They got Brian. Wholesome fellow. Nick's a little, he's a little dirty, but not still clean.
A little dirty. Sometimes
depending on where you look at him. Body part. And
Nick's
me, I'm a
Princess Leia. Yeah,
he is like Princess Leia.
I am. Yeah.
He looks good in that the bikini thing too. Trust me.
Yeah.
But me, I'm a shithole. But people are like, okay, I still like him. I don't know why.
Go. Awesome.
See, there's
like
Nick.
that?
Nick has a Funko Pop of Princess Leia in the slave bikini. That's pretty cool.
I do.
Actually, what you don't know is that's actually a Funko Pop of himself in the slave bikini.
That is. I had that specially made. Yes.
That's right.
Very good.
Yep.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
If you were going to be in Star Wars, you with the Rebels, or you in the dark side there? You with the Empire?
Oh, I'm with the Empire, 100%.
That's a good.
Oh.
Let's come back to that question, if you don't mind. When we take a short break, we can think about our answer, and then we'll come back we'll finish our thoughts on Star Wars, and then see what else we're going to get into, if anything. How about that?
Hopefully,
sounds good.
Nick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go slip into my slave Leia outfit. Stay tuned.
Dear Diary.
All right. We'll be right back.
Three.
Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. This is the podcast that you're looking for. How about that? So we
nice job.
Thank you. So we're just talking about. We had no idea this whole episode was going to be about Star Wars random stuff, and today's May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you. It's like I have a list.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, why the 4th not?
Yes, that's right. So before we took a little break there, we're posed the question of which side would you be on if you were at that period where the Empire was in I guess in the original Star Wars, when the Empire's at full strength, you have the rebellion starting to rise up.
Right.
Obviously a little tougher on the rebellion side, but you're whatever. So what side would you be on, Dean? Why don't we start with you?
Okay, I guess if I were to pick a side, everybody on this that listens to this podcast or watches this podcast probably would think that, given my demeanor and my language, that I would probably be on the dark side, on the Empire. Well, just to let you know, you're right. Fuck the rebellion. I want all the power. If I could, not only would I be on the Empire side, but I would be a full-blown fucking Sith. I want to chop some motherfuckers down. I want to choke them out with my hands, from a distance. Yeah. Full-blown Sith right here.
Kill younglings, perhaps?
I mean, they're Jedi, Brian. You have to.
Okay.
Orders are orders.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to keep growing up, and they're going to become grown-up Jedi, and they're going to mess with your plans.
They're just goody two-shoe little pricks. I mean, they're being taught by that little green fucker. We don't need any more of those guys running around. Nip it in the bud. That's what I say.
Wow. Okay. Nick, what about you?
Dean's final solution. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Jeez. Man.
I feel like all the things that Dean just outlined are very intriguing. So I'd probably be, I would probably be on the dark side as well. I say that in a Star Wars, knowing the Star Wars universe, having fun with it in that way, obviously. Obviously, if it was real life, you'd be on the rebellion. If there was a tyrant,
you'd totally be a rebel.
If there was a tyrant taking over the galaxy, you would want to be a part of the resistance against that. But I mean, in Star Wars Galaxy, and we're following Darth Vader into battle, I'm feeling pretty good about those odds. I'm going to stick with Darth Vader. I'm going to get taken care of and be a part of the Imperial Alliance there.
Now, does it have to be one or the other, or Nick? Could you be a smuggler in the crime ring where you're not on the Empire or the Rebels?
Okay, you're just out for yourself, making a little
just
dough,
out for yourself,
just doing whatever.
You're like you're there with Jabba, listening to shitty music that's put in there 20 years later that didn't necessarily have to be there.
Where's the fucking button on this jukebox? How does this stop? How does this song stop? Please.
Where's that goddamn button where it drops it into the
You know
Rancor
what?
pit?
I know we already talked about it, but that's the other thing that pisses me off. The way they edited that song in there, and like Boba Fett's like standing there with his gun, like looking around, and they tried to pass it off like
He's
Boba
jamming.
Fett was enjoying the fucking song
Right.
and
He
having a
was
good
not.
time. Boba Fett was not enjoying that song. Don't pull that shit with me.
No. Oh, Lord. Good day.
And then you have the one guy that they tried later to make him be a warrior with the big ponytail, kind of look like a big ugly stand thing, doing the drum thing back and forth like an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm glad we killed him.
I'm not convinced that Boba Fett even likes music at all. I think the sounds that he likes are the screams of people being frozen in carbonite. So because it sounds like money to him, and I don't think he likes music whatsoever. Bullshit.
That was beautiful. That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just go be out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good option.
Brian, what do you got?
I sort of feel like maybe over the last 4 years has sort of had that same feel, perhaps, in the political forum. So in that respect, I would be a rebel to overtake the evil empire and maybe create something better for people past me or beyond me. So I would try to be a rebel fighter, I think.
So be it, Jedi.
That's right. Good. Not bad. Not bad.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go back to your last set. So we were talking about some of some of these special editions in the original trilogy. We talked about some of the ones that we liked and disliked. Any other ones in particular that you did not like in any of the original trilogy that they added that was like made no sense at all, didn't add to the storyline? We talked about some of the stuff. We obviously the Han Solo, not shooting first was terrible, horrible. Could be one of the worst of all time. The terrible band in Jabba's palace. Go ahead.
I'm watching it now because it's on Disney Plus, and New Hope just ended. So I am now watching Empire Strikes Back in the background, and I do enjoy that they put the Wampa in there more.
Yeah,
with him. It made him more of a just not a flashing figure. They showed more of him.
Yeah, that's true. Him over there in the den chewing on that thing, and he looks over. That wasn't initially in there, was it?
Correct.
The only time you see the Wampa is
he rose up
when he comes down, and it's he like kind of comes at the screen. Yeah,
it was only I think if I remember correctly, it was only like a torso and a head and an arm separate of the body.
Right. That's right. Yep.
So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed just watching that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I liked. Are we going things we do like? Or are we still on things we don't like?
Either.
Just whatever comes to mind.
I was going to say I do, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I like that they changed Anakin's ghost to Hayden Christensen because I don't know. Well, after you've already seen that's how I think of Anakin Skywalker.
Right. Sure.
That is because that's how, prior to the prequels and Hayden Christensen playing Anakin Skywalker, we only knew of Anakin Skywalker like Luke's father and what became Darth Vader. But we never had any sort of visual to the character. So I like the fact that they used Hayden Christensen, regardless of what you think of his portrayal of the character, if you like it, if you don't, whatever. I like that they used him because he is who portrays Anakin Skywalker, like it or not,
right,
as that character. Other than that, I always thought it was like, it's kind of weird that, like, it would, when you think about it logically, which I know this is Star Wars and it's all, whatever, fan theory and whatever. But if you think about it, the Anakin Skywalker they had in there originally, which was just the guy that they took the mask off of and was, Darth Vader burnt up and about to die as an old man, Anakin Skywalker. He never looked like the way his ghost did as Anakin Skywalker because he was a young man when he was Anakin Skywalker. So old man Anakin, like the original Force ghost appeared, never existed.
Right.
So I like that they made
That's a good point.
Hayden Christensen. He never existed in that form until now. He's a Force ghost, and so magically he's aged.
This is
and
what
all
my
the years
hair
of Darth
would have
Vader
looked like.
Yeah, all the years spent as Darth Vader. Let's pretend that didn't happen. And this is what I look like dead now as an old man. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, and again, to come back as an old man ghost to be like, come on, man.
Me.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah, I did like that too, Nick. Yeah, and I liked that because that is when he turned, right? So that was the death of Anakin, and that's where he came back and he got to live his day. I did like that as well. That was pretty cool, unexpected.
And I'll defend Hayden Christensen all day.
Me too. I thought he was great.
Yeah, and the third one.
Yeah.
It's coming back again, of course, you know that, in the new Ben Kenobi. Anyway, so yeah,
I've got questions about that. How do you think that's going to happen? Now, do you think because it is Hayden Christensen?
He's going to have the armor,
right? But why do Hayden Christensen? What does it matter?
Right? Who we like? Why does it have to be him under there?
The name, and they'll probably do some. They got to do some clips.
I was going to say
that's what I'm thinking.
They're going to have to.
Or if there's behind the scenes stuff as him, we've seen bits. I always remember as a kid, it was so cool when like there were those little scenes. Like there was the one where they come into Lord Vader's chamber and the like little they're peeking through the slots and you just see the back of his head. And you're like, oh my god, there he is without his helmet on. Because you just never seen that. Yeah, wow, uncircumcised dickhead guy, awesome. But anyway. I digress.
That was Brian's nickname in high school.
Circumcised dickhead guy.
Yep.
But it would be cool if they put him in makeup and if there was a little more some intimate scenes with Darth Vader like that, maybe in his chamber, maybe
he's gonna be making out with somebody.
Well, you know what I mean, like behind closed doors. If he ever really struggled anymore with the life that he chose to go on and lead, did he ever internally struggle with that, or was he just like totally cool with it and that's where he had to get to become Darth Vader, or you know what I mean? Like, was there ever? Obviously, there was a dream
sequence
of humanity in him to get back there at some point. So, were there moments that they could reflect back on to where he was, maybe internally having struggles with his decisions? Ever wondered where, where his kids were, or did I don't know, just stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see some of that backstory because he's still struggling with good and evil at that point until he sinks maybe farther into it. Sure, that'd be interesting to see.
Or another, if you could do an aspect of the Force that you haven't seen, where say Obi-Wan finds Anakin or Darth Vader in a dream sequence, and that's how he is in the dream. That's how they both see him, as it's still as Anakin.
Could be.
So maybe they have this fight because they already said there's going to be a lightsaber battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, which in canon doesn't make sense because this is in A New Hope is the first time they saw each other.
Right.
So if maybe he sees him in a dream like in a Force dream sequence, and that's how they see each other is in those forms, and they have a conversation or they fight or I don't know, something like that.
They still could have. I mean, they're still both younger in this Ben Kenobi series, so it certainly could be. He still could disappear for many, many years before they see each other again.
Yeah, because he doesn't necessarily say. He just says, "I've felt this presence since." And then he runs off.
Yeah. Yep. So
he
can
doesn't
still do all
technically
that.
say, he didn't say Mustafar.
Right.
Right.
Yep. Be interesting. All right. Any other thoughts on the special edition ads and all that stuff? Any other things come to mind there before we close up that topic?
Just really hated that song in Return of the Jedi, man.
Yep.
Brian, I just really hated that.
I did like the statues showing the Empire, the different planets, and
I enjoyed that too.
celebrating.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
Bringing it all
City
full
you
circle.
saw, and some of the other
Them
ones
pulling
tearing
the
down.
statue down. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I did like that. I did like the Emperor, them putting the
100%
in the hologram with Darth Vader.
Rather
I thought
than the
that
monkey
definitely tied
and the
that
woman
scene together. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I agreed.
Yeah. And then the one I keep going on the fence with is, do I like the change of Boba Fett's voice to Jango Fett to tie him to be the clone? And so they really wrapped all that up.
I like
That's
that.
probably more of a struggle for people of your age.
Right.
That grew up with Boba Fett sounding, because that's all you had to go on of Boba Fett for so long.
Yes.
That was that voice was Boba Fett. And so that would be a little difficult, I would think, to break ties from, rather than someone like us who, we grew up with those movies and we've heard that Boba Fett voice, but we didn't have to wait so long before we got more content that involves Boba Fett and Jango and all that stuff. So,
well, in the same vein, I think that I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but the actor who plays Boba Fett and Jango Fett and now Boba Fett, I think you're going to see him in the Ahsoka show, but as Rex, because he is Rex was traveling with Ahsoka at the end of Clone Wars. And Rex was one of the only troopers that was that got the chip pulled out of his head.
Yeah.
So he didn't. So he bypassed Order 66, and then he ended up traveling with Ahsoka. So I think you're going to see that actor portray Rex.
Yeah.
Cool. And Rex has like a beard and stuff, and he's an older guy.
Yeah. I'm super pumped for that show, the Ahsoka spinoff, because that episode of The Mandalorian was my favorite. I watched that one so many times. It was like a standalone little movie. I just watched it over and over again. I'm like, it's such a great episode. Like,
you could almost call it a pilot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Any other Star Wars thoughts before we wrap this up? A lot of good random topics here. Favorite moments, upcoming content, current content.
Just another year gone after on Star Wars Day, hoping that they will finally announce my Salacious Crumb standalone film, my origin story. Another year has gone by. I have not yet heard of that being in the works, so we'll just wait till next year. Next year, it's probably sure to happen.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
God willing, and the creek don't rise.
There you go. All right. Well, Nick, do you want to remind the folks where we can be found, please, sir?
Do.
In his basement. Oh.
In my basement.
Oh.
Come on over. It's fun. It's a good time. Now, if you've enjoyed what you've listened to this evening, or you enjoyed
real
our
quick,
banter,
and I know I do this all the time.
You do almost every time, yeah.
I know, because I have thoughts that popped in my head. I just
don't go.
I would hate to end this episode of Star Wars without knowing what Bobblehead Nick thought of this episode. Did he like it?
Bobblehead Nick, what say you?
Did you like this episode?
To the Star Wars episode. Bobblehead Nick says to the episode. Now, he has mentioned it seemed a bit redundant to him, as it was very similar to our first episode. So this is going to be a close one.
Okay. Did you like it?
He did.
All right.
He did like it. He liked it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Although Bobblehead Nick has informed me that he is a sucker for any Star Wars content, so yes.
That's
Excellent.
true.
It's an easy way to win him over.
Why he took like 45 minutes to shake his head yes?
Yes, that's right. Yes. I can't just give it away. You gotta live in the suspense for a minute.
Oh, you give it away all the time. All right. I just wanted to do that bit, so go ahead. Sorry.
Yes.
So, Nick, before Dean has another random thought pop in his head.
Come on, it was Bobblehead Nick. Our fans love Bobblehead Nick.
I like Bobblehead Nick. Yes, very much.
Yes. Bobblehead Nick loves you all too. Bobblehead Nick also says that if you've enjoyed yourself, you should head over to Facebook and YouTube and simply search Convincing Idiots. That's where you will find us. Also, be sure to go check us out on Instagram. That's at convincing_idiots. On Twitter at Convincing Idiot with no S. We are also on TikTok at Convincing Idiots, or we can be reached via email, and that is at convincingidiots@gmail.com. So, for another episode of Convincing Idiots, I'm Bobblehead Nick.
I'm Bobblehead Dean.
I'm Bobblehead Brian.
Have we convinced you that a third Star Wars related episode is a good idea? May the 4th be with you. About like just so
blatantly wrong.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Again, I don't know how funny it was in my head at the time. It was funny. Funny enough to write it down to remind my sober self.
Next time, tell your drunk self to write an idea down.
Mm-hmm.
And still right in the garbage.
Oh, well.
Make sure you keep that for next time. This is what you tell drunk you, but really you just throw it away.
File that in the complaint department.
I should remember this. I wrote myself a note next time I got drunk to remember what to do here. Throw in garbage. Got it.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write it on my dick and throw it down your throat.
My favorite part of that story is you actually did the right thing by trying to drunk you correspond with sober you, but it still didn't make it. Like you still didn't remember what it was.
I actually do that a lot. I write myself.
It wasn't good enough note keeping by drunk you to get it across.
I do that both ways. Sober Dean writes drunk Dean's notes to drink water when you get home. And next to I put aspirin there and say, take these and drink a glass of water, please.
Wait, is this so? Yes, this happens.
Mm-hmm.
So when you leave to go out,
I write myself a note.
Sober yourself. Your sober self.
I literally
humans are still 70% water. You should drink water.
I literally write, dear drunk Dean, take these aspirin and drink some water and have a good night.
Wow.
And not joking, I woke up the next morning and I wrote and I read "fuck you" at the bottom of it. I had wrote "fuck you."
Did you remember writing it?
Yeah. I woke up and I remember. I kind of giggled because I remember writing it. Yeah, it wasn't that out of it, but
did you?
So Dean's schizophrenic. That's fun. We found that out today.
Wow. Did you follow your sober self's instructions, or were you rebellious against your sober self?
Normally I do. Normally I take the aspirin.
Fuck you, sober Dean. This is your problem tomorrow. Woo!
You're wondering, this is your blood.
I don't recall I've ever done that.
No?
Mm-mm.
It's not bad. I mean,
Nick, you ever interacted with your drunk self to your sober self in some capacity?
I don't think so, but there's always sober me's always been in the back of my mind when super drunk me comes out, because there's always a part of me that's like, hey man, you got to try to reel this in, because I know you're having fun now, but there was before, I remember being the last one, I would wake back up to go just pound like cups of water because I would like sober me was in the back going,
yelling,
"Hey
get
man,
up,
like
get up.
I know you don't want
Go in
to right
there."
now, but like you have to take care of this because tomorrow like you're gonna be super
Tomorrow's
fucked and
gonna
like
suck.
trying to help you out." Yeah, like so, but not like I've never written like different versions of myself notes per se, but definitely like there's that back of your mind conscience that sometimes is like looking out for you.
I have no clue who it was, but I was watching a comedian and they did that bit, and I'm watching going, holy fuck, I do that.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. So I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
So you're like a Harvey Dent maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Two-Faced
in some
or
respects.
like the lizard, like when Dr. Connors turns into the lizard, he's like outside of himself, you know.
Well, I mean, the obvious is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Sure.
There you go. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun being me.
Does I'm like drunk you?
I'm
does
joking.
Drunk?
It's fucking exhausting.
It sounds like it. Does drunk you? Does drunk you ever like try to like play to like make sober you play therapist? Do you ever like leave yourself notes of like pouring out your feelings and
you're good enough, you're smart
like,
enough,
or you're just like
people like
honestly, Sober Dean, sometimes I just feel like, you know, I try to be the best version of myself, but sometimes I just don't know that I'm good enough. And then you wake up to this like 4-page essay about like your innermost fears.
And then the next weekend, Drunk Dean grabs that paper that he wrote, and Sober Dean just wrote, fuck you.
You're right to doubt yourself. You're not that good. You're probably not good enough. You should probably just go with that, man.
I think I want to see something where maybe Sober Dean comes up with some interview questions.
Oh, there you go.
For Drunk Dean. And records them. Records them on the phone.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And then when you get home, you'll have to record yourself answering those questions.
So I'll read them drunk and have to answer. Okay. That's a good bit. I like that.
You know what the video...
read the question sober.
Do you know what the video looks like for that?
Kind of splice it together.
Yeah. So you're the interviewer when you're sober, right? Before you leave.
That's really good. Okay? That's really good.
And then come back home, play the question, record the answer, and see what you come up with there.
Well, I don't think Drunk Dean's going to get in depth. I will do that, but I'll write down the question also.
That's fine.
That way I could just read it and answer it.
Yeah, you don't have to play the video back. Yeah, just answer the questions.
Drunk Dean will fuck up the video somehow.
Sure.
Erase it.
I would say I just feel like Drunk Dean sits down in his chair to answer the questions, and then a couple minutes goes by, you forget, and the video is just you going, "This isn't porn." Like, where's the
ham gravy?